Do you ever find it interesting that no one really has a good answer where the premiums on silver come from and why it's not automatically baked into spot? If it's a cost of production, raw cost of production to produce that silver, why is that not all baked into what the spot price is? Or is it? Okay, then why isn't that the price of bullion? Well, obviously it would cost a little bit more to produce bullion pieces. Makes perfect sense, right? The key is, when you really think about it though, did it cost so much more to produce, this guy here, the American Silver Eagle, than the Kookaburra? I would bet it costs more to produce the Kookaburra with the level of quality. However, the premium commanded on the Eagle, especially at certain times, infinitely higher than something that's much more of a quality piece like the Kookaburra. Why is that? And why is there no rhyme or reason between them? Or at least that you or I can see. It's an interesting point, and you don't really hear people talk about it or explain really where that comes from. Now again, this is one of the big hard parts about putting your money into precious metals. Bullion, coins, anything in between. Rounds, bars. You're paying a premium to be in this medium, unlike a stock where you really don't pay anything. These days you don't even pay a trade fee. So it's hard to justify, why am I putting my money into physical assets. Now again, in the stacking community, the mantra is, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And you can absolutely hold these guys to your heart's delight. No one's going to take it away from you, at least not at this point. But the key is, you're paying for that privilege. It's not something that's just an added bonus. You are paying for the privilege of holding that silver, especially in these forms. This is the Antique, the Libertad. In these forms, it costs money to be able to do that. It's not a free perk of being a stacker. Where does that come from? How do you justify and how do you measure what's worth it and what isn't? Especially again, when you've seen spot price from almost $26 almost to back down into the 21s and everything in between with in a short span of a few months. That's the kind of environment that we're in, and the person or entities that make the killing during that time are the bullion dealers. This is a burnished eagle. As you can see, it has the mint mark on it, the W. Is it really worth it? To each their own. It's a nice coin to have, but I wouldn't recommend having a large stack of them. But I mean, these kind of concepts in stacking, investing, finance in general, they're all important to know, because the reality is, when you look at the median incomes in this country, I mean, people are making 40,000, 50,000 median income. I mean, that's in California, that's pretty much poverty wages, as far as if you have to pay rent and pay a car payment and get to work and wear clothes and eat, if you can afford to. It really is that way. Now if you live in Kansas or Nebraska, I could see where your dollar might go a little bit further, but you're probably not making that wage. Now, if you have a good job, you work in the oil field, you work in something else, where you are making a good wage, well then kudos to you. But again, that's the exception, not the norm. How many people really have the money to put into, luxuries such as stacking? It's a difficult proposition. Whereas, again, investing in other things, even crypto, although crypto also has, upfront costs, which is kind of ridiculous, like trade fees. I would assume that at some point that goes away. Same thing as ETFs and funds. A lot of the fees that were upfront fees have gone away because it's to the benefit of these fund companies to get more money into their product. So they want that, so they're willing to lower the fee to get more money in. I would assume as time passes, that's kind of the same thing that'll happen with crypto as it gains more and more adoption. Now I am not a crypto bro, but I do think that there's definitely some potential there. This is a Incuse maple. You can see the Incuse there. One of my favorite coins from the Royal Canadian Mint. But these kind of things are important, because if you don't understand where the premium comes from and why, what justifies the premium at any given time, who's making those rules? The bullion dealers, the people who are selling you this medium. Now, if you're going to the coin shop, obviously it's a little bit different because their model's different. The bullion dealers hold on to their inventory. They can hold on forever if they want to. So they don't have to, they can ride out low prices and wait for, high premiums or a jump in spot, things like that. Whereas a coin dealer, it's more hand to mouth. It comes in, it goes right back out. There's a markup, it is what it is. So realistically, the coin shop would be your best place to go, right? Because, it's a more straightforward transaction and you're taking advantage of the real environment versus again, a manipulated one. But not everybody has an LCS. Not everybody has somebody where you can go and buy bullion directly. In those cases, you are at the mercy of the bullion dealers. And I would suspect that the vast majority of people that stack are buying from, online bullion dealers. Where do we learn what the real silver environment is and what it would take to just have a uniform price that really tells us, look, for bullion, not for industrial bars, which again, spot you would think measures industrial, metal, prices. Where do we learn what the real premium should be? Because the way that the current operation works, and especially since there are very few, metals companies, bullion dealers that are owned by, a few different entities, it's basically a managed market. You are at the mercy of whatever they want to charge you. Why is it like that? Really think about that. That makes it very difficult as a consumer because I have Coke and Pepsi. I have to choose one or the other if I want to drink soda. Now, that's not the reality, but even when you look at that type of a market, Coke and Pepsi own Dr. Pepper and A&W and Sprite and all the other ones. They're all different brands under these, big entities. It's the same with bullion dealers. The question is, like I said, where is the justification for Eagles are worth, more than a maple? Well, okay, I can understand that in a little bit of a sense, but no, there's no way that the premium should be 30% on a 40% on an Eagle and 15% on a maple. That's ridiculous. And I've heard so many things like it's supply and demand. No, it's absolutely not. If you've seen all the things with supply of Eagles and like all the different things that go on with the mint to the primary dealers, no, it's definitely not supply and demand. There's some other dynamic there that's, again, some sort of a managed market. Where do we learn about that? Let me know.